What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. It is episode 885 of Pop Culture Crisis. I can already see the chat telling us we were 3.5 seconds late. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
I am ready.
Yes.
I'm ready to go. Hello, crisis actors. It's Mary. I was just delaying the show for a whole 20 seconds.
Wasn't even close to that.
Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid.
To put my hair in a ponytail because I was getting overstimulated. But
How you doing?
I am good.
So before, it was like 2:57, and I'm like walking back there to grab something. I'm like, I didn't leave the camera on so that she could check to make sure that the shot was right. And then
I always
was
do.
It's going to cause problems. But you know what? It's Friday. We're going to be loosey.
I'm always like,
today.
can I look at myself first? I always have to, check my shot.
I'm going to read this super chat now. Weary Traveler says, Brett is now a 5-hour energy Chad based. Yeah. I don't know what's based about it,
It's
but
it's not new.
it's less like total liquid than having to drink an entire energy drink.
But what's so weird to me about it is the fact that you take tiny sips of it throughout the day. I just think that's
I don't drink it all at once.
That's insane.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty crazy. That's me.
Emily, you're such a crackhead. We can't take you anywhere.
Guys, hit the like button on this video, would you please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share this live stream, this episode, and all the segments out with your friends and your family and your loved ones, people in your life that you both love and hate in equal measure. The more people that you share with, the faster this channel can grow. Plus, you should argue with people in the comments section about everything that we talk about. In fact, what you should do after the show today, not now, but after the show today, you should go watch me ramble about the Fantastic Four First Steps movie for 22 minutes. I rambled.
22 minutes.
I talked about it for...
Tim probably was hating on the movie for about as long last night.
You know what? I had my issues with it, Pedro Pascal being one of them. And you guys know me, I'm a contrarian at heart, so I really wanted to like his performance so that I could do the thing where I'm like, I'm really critical of him. I don't like his politics. I think he's kind of a creep. But, when somebody delivers a good performance, I'm going to call balls and strikes. But his performance was ass. So that's just my personal opinion.
You wanted to be the guy taking the high road.
Yes, but I'm not that guy. I liked the movie in spite of him for a myriad of other reasons. But you should go watch that review after this episode today. I did link it and pin it as the top comment for you guys to go and check out. So what are we getting into today? Well, there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. Mary found us a list. We can't verify this list, but a list of celebrity...
A client list?
It's a different type of list. Technically these are clients on a list. They're the clients of Doomsday bunker builders.
Exactly.
Is that a business? So there's probably a company called doomsdaybunkerbuilders.com.
Yeah, I don't know why this fascinated me the other day. I think it was over the weekend. I was just like, I wonder what celebrities believe about the apocalypse.
They're over there with Zuckerberg.
They talk about everything they believe, and I found very scant details on their beliefs about the end times, but we can probably get some hints from how many of them allegedly are building doomsday bunkers and prepping for the end of the world.
So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a singer named Jessie Murph, who nobody's ever heard of. And if you have, I would say that you're one of the few. But she has a new song out that people are calling a Tradwife anthem.
It's so chuggy
and satire.
It is, according to the singer, a satire piece, but some people think that she's lying about that because the reception to it was so terrible.
I can't handle the thing is, guys, is I listened to it and it gave me flashbacks of Olivia making me listen to Meghan Trainor. And
she listens to Meghan Trainor.
She listens to Meghan Trainor. And I said, I would rather listen to Taylor Swift's entire discography front to back than listen to Meghan Trainor, because that's just,
Find you a man who listens to Meghan Trainor. That's real
it's
unconditional
Couldn't
love.
be me.
We have a 20 from Jose Quintana. Happy Friday, Optical Overlord and Ghost Empress. Quickly, EFFF was enjoyable. Fantastic Four. I give it a soft 7. Enjoyable for what it was. Kirby is her usually solid self. It was fun. Long live the Gonganese and PCC.
Yeah, it was. She delivers an adequate performance with the material that was there, and in my opinion, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm was the absolute standout in this movie, and I would watch a bromance movie between him and Ben Grimm before I'd watch another Fantastic Four movie. But again, I liked it for reasons that you shall have to go over and learn about in my review afterwards. So I see some other super chats about
I
it.
have a question, a personal question for you. Did you eat the sandwich you wanted to eat today?
Yes, I did. There was one.
Perfect. We have you in the right mindset for a
Yeah.
Friday episode.
Actually, I don't know, because those have like, that's like bread, so that's like,
Oh no.
I'm gonna be like falling asleep.
I think we'll be okay.
It's okay. We got a bunch of other stuff to get into today. Pedro Pascal is back on the menu discussion-wise because there's apparently an organized hate campaign of people who be noticing things. So,
well, they're saying that someone is paying behind the scenes for bots to hate Pedro Pascal on social media, because there's no way we would have genuine reasons to dislike this guy. Yeah, he's so lovable and he's such a small bean. He's such a wholesome chungus. How could anyone genuinely hate this guy? It has to be fake.
Must be.
All right. And who the hell do they think is paying for it then? Like, whatever.
Like, is there just like the Peter Thiel of Pedro Pascal haters who's just out here funding shit?
I don't know. Maybe it is Peter Thiel.
Okay.
Could be.
We got a bunch of other stuff to get into. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
So the butterfly effect is crazy because one day Simon Cowell is assembling this boy band from contestants on the X Factor, and then at the end of this domino effect is Harry Styles launching a sex toy line. The world is just a crazy place. So he's owned this lifestyle brand called Pleasing for quite a while now, and it was just selling fragrances, makeup, supposedly unisex products for his fans. And he hasn't really been making new music. He's been losing millions of Instagram followers for a while now because he's not really putting himself out there. This is his next venture. He wants to release toys for self-pleasure for his fan base on pleasing.com. And I hate that Pleasing Harry Styles is in my browser history now.
Yeah, you can't live that one down.
Yeah. I just first off found it hilarious the way that they're referring to these products in announcements. One of them called them bedroom products. Another one called them adult wellness. Adult wellness products. Okay. And this product page says, an invitation to please yourself like you mean it. Pleasing yourself is the result of our radical pursuit of that which feels good. So that's just Hollywood's entire worldview, right? Just a radical pursuit of whatever feels good.
That, like, I could literally feel you frowning while reading that phrase.
This is why I crash out.
Yeah.
Like, they give me reasons.
Wait, what did you say earlier where you were like, I was like, I appreciate your your disdain for...
Not my disdain. You said your like indignancy.
I appreciate
at the world.
Like, you have a certain, like, it doesn't matter what the topic is, sometimes even on things that you agree with, but there is a certain level of indignancy that you embody that I can appreciate in a world that kind of seems in a lot of ways to approach everything uncritically. You seem mildly indignant about just about everything.
Literally everything. Like, I was reading about this pop star we're talking about later in the show, and it says in this article, Lana Del Rey posted a video on Instagram of herself pole dancing to one of this
that was what it was, yeah.
songs, and I'm just like, what is wrong with people? Anyway, I want to show this promo video that they put on Harry Styles' Instagram for the products. Please yourself like you mean it. It's very cryptic. Why does he have my name tattooed?
It's a good, it says mom's name or something?
I don't know.
please yourself like you mean it.
Ew. Ew. The way that he said that. And then they put out a press release after the launch of the Pleasing double-sided vibrator and Pleasing lube for £50 and £18 respectively, now available for pre-order. They describe the vibrator as intuitively functional as it is aesthetically distinct, and it's designed to stimulate wherever feels good, from erogenous zones to anywhere craving extra attention. And they have a creative director named Harry Lambert, who is actually Harry Styles' stylist, and he's known for his adventurous outfits on red carpets. He said, this is so insane, "Pleasing yourself is something we want our community to do. To love themselves, look after themselves, treat themselves, and please themselves. Sexual wellness is such an important part of a person's overall well-being and is something we are proud to embrace and speak about openly."
Yeah, I knew that you were going to hate everything about this. And let's face it, the most annoying part about it is like, because it's so mainstream, they can't even actually say what they want to say. They have to use like weird coded language that's just going to cause some kid to read this and ask his parents about it and make the whole conversation really awkward.
Look, here's why it's weird. First off, a man releasing a sex toy line for women, really weird in general.
Yeah,
but especially
say, like, with the women have cornered the makeup market, and the men are like, not on my watch. I'm making sure to get like, they're like, okay, fine. Gwyneth Paltrow can have the weird vibrator necklace, but as a dude, I'm going to make sure to corner the market.
Yeah, like, dare I ask how Harry Styles tested this for quality purposes? But, you know, it does make perfect sense.
Maybe there'll be a Marvel one made of vibranium.
Yeah, someone like Harry Styles would definitely do something like this because his entire fan base is a bunch of femcels, basically, who read, you know, Wattpad smut about One Direction and don't have boyfriends, and they listen to his music, and they're obsessed with how, you know, plausibly metrosexual he is, and they love the fact that he's effeminate and wears ballet tutus and dances around on stage dressed up like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
Maybe he tested it on the dude from the 1975. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe, yeah. They're a similar type. They're a similar type, but Maddie Healy does have a higher IQ. I will say that.
There's more actual art in the art.
One of the fans said the general public is just now realizing Harry is a real freak, as if he didn't write a whole song about the female orgasm in 2019. LMFAO. I think they're referring to his single Watermelon Sugar, which I always despised. I didn't know that it was about the female orgasm. I just learned that. But it's a bad song.
Yeah.
And then one of his fans also posted a revealing tweet that makes my point for me, comparing the old One Direction toothbrush.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you have that here? She said, "We've come so far, ladies," implying that as a child, she used the One Direction singing toothbrush as a self-pleasure device.
I was so much happier before we covered this topic, if I'm being completely honest.
Harry Styles is just a male feminist pervert.
You will live to see man-made horrors beyond your comprehension.
Yeah.
And you will ask, but why?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking right now. How old is he? How old are they? Are they like early 30s? Are they like in their early 30s? Or were there
he is currently 31 years old.
Okay, so he's in his early 30s.
Yes.
So like, were there female groups akin to like a One Direction, or I guess even a Jonas Brothers from that time period, that were for the same demographic, like for young girls?
Like in the early 2010s?
Yeah.
I mean, there was Justin Bieber.
No, I said, were there girl artists, like
girl
bands?
groups?
Girl groups.
Oh, yes. Okay, so Little Mix is a British girl group that was getting famous at the same time as One Direction.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, I think they went on tour together at one point, but one of the singers in Little Mix dated, I believe, Liam Payne. I could be wrong.
See,
one of the members of Little Mix was dating one of the members of One Direction, and then there was also Fifth Harmony. which fell apart because, women just can't get along.
Yeah.
But girl groups are pretty much relegated to K-pop at this point.
Camila Cabello, though, right?
Camila Cabello left.
Yeah, but like
Fifth Harmony.
I'm surprised she didn't start a vibrator line.
Camila Cabello?
Yeah.
Really?
Any like why did none of the female artists get on it early?
I mean, it's not. I feel like it's tarnishing your brand, right?
Yeah, in a way, it's
like we kind of excuse.
Wait, is this
we
like,
excuse it when someone like Gwyneth Paltrow does it.
Does that make this like kind of a tacit admission that he's past his relevancy period?
Oh, for sure. Okay. By a long shot. He's not been relevant for years. Yeah. He kind of gives me like Daniel Radcliffe vibes. Like, okay, we're like, oh, remember that guy? So now this is his next effort to make money since he's not touring.
Well, you know what? I hate everything about this.
Same.
Thanks, I hate it.
Glad we're on the same page.
Before we move on, I have to set the record straight. Olivia was in the chat. She wanted to make sure that I explained to everyone that she wasn't a big Meghan Trainor fan.
Oh.
She's a Sabrina Carpenter fan.
Got
She's
it.
a Taylor Swift fan. But she does listen, I guess, to some Meghan Trainor music. And one Meghan Trainor song is one Meghan Trainor song too many for me.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
I agree
but
with
you know what?
that.
I will not be slandering her. She's not a big Meghan Trainor fan. So you know what? There.
Oh.
The record has been set straight.
We also have a 20 before we get into the next topic. High Voltage 75 said, did you hear that the T app got hacked? Tons of user photos and IDs got leaked online. In the words of Simpsons character Nelson Muntz, I say, haha. Yeah. I did not hear about that. I haven't been keeping up with T, but that was always gonna happen.
I mean, I wonder who it was, if the whole point was to draw eyes to the app and kind of turn people against it in tone. Like the hack, like getting all the information released would be to like see how unsafe this app is and kind of put people's eyes on it to make people more critical of it.
I'm guessing whoever hacked the app and started leaking the information of the users was like one of the people on r/men's rights who wanted to sabotage it. They were mass reporting it on the App Store.
Yeah. Guys' photos were showing up and they're like, I did not.
But it's like,
permission for this.
you're getting your comeuppance because you were trying to reveal other people's personal information, and then whoop-de-doo, yours got leaked in the process.
Yeah.
They got their just desserts.
All right. Let's move on.
So yesterday we were talking about Sydney Sweeney's new ad campaign with American Eagle and the prevalence of tits and the way that people were framing it as a shift rightward in the culture for us to unashamedly celebrate a woman inviting men to look at her tits with a smile. And then it sort of snowballed into a conversation about right-wing nostalgia posting.
Yes, they were asking what is right-wing nostalgia.
This actually is a post that went up before Sydney Sweeney's ad campaign came out, so it was kind of before its time, but this is from the Tasteful Lindy account on X. America in the 1970s probably afforded this lifestyle on one income.
My favorite is the one that always gets reposted of Al Bundy's house from Married with Children. It says, back in the 1980s, a man could afford this house on a shoe salesman's salary.
Well, in this photo, you see a young woman sitting on top of the hood of a classic car, and she has her cleavage out. Some people were saying that this is possibly AI generated because of the weird lighting on her leg.
I do feel that way about a lot of the stuff we see today. Like a lot of it seems like it could be, if not AI generated, then just very good Photoshop.
The account replied to the tweet saying, but there was no iPhone or Central Air. Keep them. You can have them. They're saying we would trade all of the material luxuries that we have today to go back to a simpler time when women were more attractive and cars were more attractive.
Well, it's like when you see the pictures. Affordable. It's like when you see the pictures of beaches at that time and there aren't any fat people around.
Yeah, and then someone quote tweeted this post saying, 95% of right-wing nostalgia is just a picture of a woman with unbelievable honkers captioned, "This is what they took from us."
It really is. For the most part, a lot of those posts are like that.
Right wing, we must return to the world of organic big bazoongas. Shit libs, don't fall for populist lies, Anon. The world of organic big bazoongas never existed.
It was all fake from the beginning.
So then this basically set off a domino effect where everyone was replying with examples of what they took from us.
The hilarious part is every single one of these, the top comment is like, what's her at?
This is the first one, which is obviously a photo taken with an iPhone. So I don't know what they're talking about. We didn't like lose women that have big
at this
tits.
point, I think they're just shit talking.
Yeah, I mean they're self-deprecating, I suppose. There were many more examples.
This
here.
is my personal favorite.
Lara Croft.
Yeah,
in the
Tomb
original
Raider.
Tomb Raider. And then this one that says, worth pointing out that this tweet has inspired so many quote tweets, never goes mega viral if it was ass themed.
So these are the true thinkers of this generation.
The communists have been slain. We now live in a new golden era of gorgeous glands. Long may it rain.
Are we supposed to watch
my
this video?
goodness.
I didn't watch the video. I don't know if it's safe to watch.
No, let's not.
Let's
just
be safe.
leave it at
Better
the
safe than
Statue of
sorry.
Liberty with cleavage.
Look, I saw somebody saying that they were talking about cleaning the Statue of Liberty for America's 250th, right?
I like
birthday.
that idea.
You know,
I
maybe.
like that.
Then it'll look like the Statue of Liberty in Fringe, right? The Statue of Liberty in Fringe was like gold looking.
Can they make it shine like a penny again?
Probably.
That would be
There
cool.
were more, of course. This one
is
comparing it to
what they took from us versus what they gave us.
Yeah.
And it's Elliot Page as the replacement.
Yep.
Very sad story. The world you grew up in no longer exists.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting some Freudian mommy issues vibes from that post.
And then this
then
one,
Pamela
this one
Anderson.
feels unfair because
I
it's
agree.
the same person. And
Yeah.
it's just 25 years have passed or however many years
Well,
have passed.
apparently that first photo was taken in 2013. But regardless, I mean, okay, they took Pamela Anderson from you because time passed and
Yeah.
she became a granny. Like, I
Other
don't know.
people do when they hit that age.
Like everyone does.
Yep.
And then,
then-
of course, the Ghislaine Maxwell photo.
Yeah, it's getting uncomfortable how much she kind of resembles Kathleen Kennedy sometimes, like a thinner Kathleen Kennedy.
I never saw that comparison until you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is that what 95% of right wing nostalgia is? And what does it represent? What does it actually represent? Obviously, we know what it means on the base level of people being gooners, but does it actually represent a different ideal for American culture?
Well, what you were pointing out yesterday is that the appeal of Sydney Sweeney when she does these brand sponsorships isn't actually her tits per se being on display because, as I pointed out, we are constantly inundated with tits like literally everywhere. So it cannot just be the tits, right?
Yep.
It's, as you put it, her demeanor, the fact that she comes off as warm, inviting, affable, and doesn't have a posture of shaming the men who find her attractive, and doesn't say, essentially, sexualize me, but only on the terms that I've set for you, and if you step out of bounds, we get to shame you for it. So I understand that.
That creates a more open society to people where they don't feel like they're tiptoeing around you as a person, which in turn probably creates more open dialogue between people because they don't feel like anything they say or do could be a landmine. And that kind of feels like what we've set up for ourselves in society, not just in this context of like a woman's physical appearance, but in general, it feels like because of the age of the internet and because of the manner in which we've kind of, lumped people into identity groups and political affiliations, everything is kind of a landmine that you may or may not step on in relation to the world around you outside of the people that you're closest to. And what this kind of idea represents is a society that had not yet succumbed to such a serious tonality. Does that make sense?
I am following the argument.
It's hard to explain,
yes.
but it's like, as somebody who grew up and lived through that time period, there was a different energy about the world before the kind of the tone of what we live in now.
Yeah. But what I was trying to say yesterday is that there has been a false dichotomy presented to us today.
Okay.
That the right has kind of surrendered to. The right has surrendered to a false dichotomy between, you know, the pregnant trans man Calvin Klein ad versus Sydney Sweeney bath soap.
I mean,
and like, we have no other choice. There is another option. Society had and enjoyed and thrived with another option. And I would probably point you to the Dior new look, for instance. This is classic feminine beauty. There is nothing pornographic about it. And it's obviously appealing to both men and women. It's aspirational beauty standards that existed in a bygone era. And that is something that I would like to see us return to. Not, you know, the man show playing videos of women in bikinis jumping on trampolines. That's actually what shitlibs enjoyed and celebrated in the 90s. So they're just still shitlibs who have the same exact value system today. There's nothing conservative or right-wing about it, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that's one of the biggest problems right now is people get lumped into that category even though they wouldn't identify themselves that way. And if they do, it's because they've been bullied into it by people telling them, you know, people who are just farther left than they are telling them that they're right-wing, even if they're, you know, by all, you know, valid measures, they're not. And
with the conversation about shaming men's sexuality, and also just masculinity and like male virility in general, I agree that that exists and there should be pushback on it. However, there's been another false dichotomy presented to men. So, for instance, the left has offered men one option to retreat into, which is the male feminist archetype. He's soft, he's fragile, he's, you know, he paints his nails, he's non-threatening, and that's deemed an acceptable way to be man, right? But then on the right, I think that we should talk about the fact that there are archetypes for men on the right that are also non-threatening. And I say the first one is a smaller portion, which is the elbow patch wearing, you know, G.K. Chesterton, autist, you know, like faux sophisticate, intellectual type.
Can you give me an example?
Like, this is something I'm talking about because as a Catholic, I see a lot of it. It's just trad LARPing, basically. Men who basically cosplay all the time as if they live in the time of like a G.K. Chesterton or a J.R.R. Tolkien, and they dress up and they smoke pipes and cigars and drink bourbon because those are like accessories that are seen as like traditionally masculine, but it's all a LARP. And then on the other hand,
it's like they drive their hybrid home, and it's like, why aren't you driving like a stagecoach?
Like there is an incongruency there. And then on the other hand, on the right, this is a far more common and I believe more sinister one. I think that especially the men who are responding so positively to like the Sydney Sweeney of it all, online especially, aren't even as attracted to her tits as they are attracted to the idea of themselves being attracted to her tits. It's hard to explain, but they are retreating into an archetype of man that is basically a belching simpleton, Homer Simpson persona. Like, I think Shane Gillis perfectly personifies this archetype. Just, I am a stupid, you know, Philistine. I'm lowbrow. I'm trash. I walk around in basketball shorts with my big beer gut hanging over it and Crocs and a graphic t-shirt. And, you know, I'm edgy and I watch UFC and I'm a brute. And they basically have walled themselves off from aspiration to anything higher than that intellectually, and have kind of romanticized this idea that, like, yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm a brute. I'm a caveman, basically.
That feels to me like a lot to kind of attach to just that idea.
It's like, I like tits and beer. Like, I get that those are things men can enjoy, but it almost feels performative. The social media,
I mean that's gonna
behavior
be true
feels
of anything.
performative.
By making the choice to like post about it, it's already performative from anyone about anything. The second you actually decide to take a screenshot of something or screen record a video, whether it be of Sydney Sweeney or whatever, you've made the decision that this is important enough for you to make a post and talk about it, right? So when I see it, I guess, and again, maybe it's just because I'm a dude from that generation, I see that behavior more as a way to signal to people a return to a world closer to what you described earlier of like the man show, when those behaviors perhaps weren't that guy's whole identity, but they were a part of his identity that wasn't shamed for being there. And because that's the main thing that's changed between, I guess, the late 90s and early 2000s and now, that is where the attention and the focus goes as a means of discussion. Like, I don't know if that's the idea of them reducing themselves down to a caricature, but it's taking one aspect of their personality that society has been unrelentingly telling them is wrong and them pushing back in a very pointed manner.
What it comes off like to me is reveling in being the object of contempt in our culture instead of aspiring to be something
but Sydney Sweeney
higher than that.
I think the point to them is that what Sydney Sweeney represents in like a video or a photo like that is that she is not approaching the people who are watching and enjoying the content with an air of contempt, so it doesn't carry the same label as, say, an OnlyFans model who posts pictures and then talks about the people that pay her bills like they're disgusting slobs, which does happen. Like, we've talked about that before. There's that kind of contrast about they don't even respect the men that spend money on them. Now, that could still be true of Sydney Sweeney, but it's not signaled in the actual material, which is something that they're catching on to, perhaps even without even realizing it.
Well, here's another note. Okay, you can like judge the health of any society based on how difficult it is to see a pair of tits. It's literally never been easier. And another reason why the male response feels so performative is because, you know, it literally, like, it is just a pair of tits. There's nothing special about it. You have that shoved in your face like literally 24/7 by the media. And to act like you're floored by it,
no, they're
just sounds like fake to me. And I understand you're saying that there's a distinction because of her demeanor, but it's like,
and the industries that pick her up, meaning that this isn't OnlyFans, this isn't feminist ideals, these are American Eagle jeans and what is Dr. Squatch? Is that for men specifically?
Yeah.
Or is that like these are things designed for men, which is, I mean, not American Eagle, but Dr. Squash one, is that it's signaling to men that it's okay to like this without feeling as if it's overtly female empowerment, which is its own messaging, or shameful to look at, so you have to look at it in private.
I think ogling at tits like a caveman is shameful.
Well, I mean, the problem is then that is it's shameful and it's everywhere, but most of the time it's signaled as both shameful for men but an act of empowerment for women, which reinforces the divide between the two.
In reality, I would say it's shameful for everybody.
Well, that's probably the more accurate dividing line here is what one of them signals for women and what one of them signals for both of them.
We have a 20 from Shane H. Wilder. There is need for a crusade of manliness and purity to counteract and undo the savage work of those who think that man is a beast, and that crusade is a matter for you. Saint Jose Maria Escriva. Wow, that's a really interesting quote.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Let's move on. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see cringe first.
Effie in the chat says her boobs are just laboo-boos for men. They're just a fad.
Well, I mean, I don't see any men buying Sydney Sweeney tit keychains.
But they would if they could.
But they would if they could.
All right, what did you say? You want to see cringe or
Yeah,
cute?
let's see the cringe.
Cringe first? All right. All right. Here we go. Turn the volume on. Is that a guy at a Buc-ee's?
Yes.
When you're at Buc-ee's, you're feeling real lucky. You feel like you're floating like a happy rubber ducky. So if you're feeling yucky, hop in your truckies and come over to Buc-ee's. Post it on Facebook and show Mark Zuckies. Maybe he'll bring his lizard friends over to Buc-ee's.
I was waiting for like the manager to come and be like, bro, you can't do that here.
Man, all this for a gas station?
Buc-ee's is a gas station?
It's actually pronounced bussies.
It's not the worst I've ever seen.
Really?
No.
I mean,
um,
that is an influencer in the wild.
I do wonder, like, yeah, like, it's one thing if he does it for a living, but it's like, what do you do in 20 years if, like, this didn't make you any money and you were still doing it? Then you're like, for shame. Like, at least you could show your kids your humiliating things that made you money. But if this is just like, I just do it for the love of the game.
He should just tell the manager that corporate hired him a week
Yeah,
ago.
like, just be like, it's a corporate oversight. I was hired to market for the day.
Y'all were hiring a mascot. I'm here.
All right. Well, all right.
Show Mark Zucky.
This is from Isaac Cervantes. He says, solo shot of Cinder. The kids played dress up with her in their younger days.
Are those sunglasses?
They are.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Can we get 2 or 3 today?
Are you offended by this because it's a dog in a costume?
No. It's not clothing.
I mean, it kind of is.
It's accessories. It's
Okay.
not clothing.
Oh.
Though there are acceptable accessories. Shoes, no. Take the shoes off the dog.
They hate it.
Yeah. Take the shoes off the dog. No sweaters on the dog. It's humiliating. You're humiliating the poor pooch. Stop it. That's just my personal opinion. All right. Let's move on.
Okay. So I don't know what came over me, but I started getting really interested in what celebrities have theorized about the apocalypse, about the end times. And we know for a fact that plenty of tech CEO billionaires have built underground bunkers in preparation for a societal collapse or a nuclear holocaust. And that includes allegedly Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and plenty of others. But which celebrities have gone to the same lengths to prepare for the end times? Because that really confirms that they believe that we're in the end times, right? And then we can find out what they really think about the world and the meaning of the stories that they tell.
I mean, maybe it's like once you reach a certain tax bracket, you just like you've run out of things that you can afford pretty much anything. So you have to start finding extra. You're like, you know what? I can afford anything I want. And out of an abundance of caution, you build the bunker.
But at that point, I would think like, I don't really want to live past the mushroom cloud, to be honest. I don't know.
You'd rather just call it a day.
Coincidentally, as I was looking into this, I found out that Miley Cyrus's mother, Tish Cyrus, was recently on a podcast where she revealed she has insider knowledge of Will Smith's underground bunker and also an underground network of tunnels below all of LA.
I mean, if I had the money, I'd just build a bunker just cause, even if I didn't think that the world was going to collapse. I want a bunker. I also like whenever if I ever make enough money to own a home, I'm going to put a room behind a bookcase with a book that goes like this.
Oh, yeah.
And opens.
Yeah. So take note in this clip of the way that the podcast host and also Tish's daughter, Brandy, are cutting her off when she tries to talk about this. It's really weird.
LA tunnels.
Oh,
Okay,
Molly.
no, that's not real.
She's convinced.
I've heard the LA tunnels are real. I heard Will Smith has a whole underground bunker in LA.
I believe
When
it.
shit goes down and there's all kinds
Yeah.
of and
Oh, really?
and all have this whole thing.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys could probably just like figure it out because you're closer
yeah, maybe.
than the rest of us. You could be like, hey,
I just think there's all kinds of stuff that's gonna happen, and that it's just
She loves a conspiracy.
But I don't think they're conspiracies. I think they're true.
That's what all conspiracy theories
No,
say. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the government is the people that came up with the word conspiracy theory anyway.
That's what they all say.
No, like
Okay.
Why are they trying to silence Tish? Oh my goodness.
Let her live.
Let her cook. She's onto something, and they definitely cut her off when she tried to say, Miley told me.
I think it's more out of embarrassment. I think that there's like secondhand embarrassment for her. She's like, oh my God.
Yeah, like, Mom, please. But
Like,
she literally said, Miley told me, and then she got interrupted.
Yeah.
But allegedly, Miley told her mother that there is an underground network of tunnels below LA, and that Will Smith has an apocalyptic bunker on one of his properties.
Like I said, like if
So-
that's kind of a bad look though, right? Like imagine you spend all this money on your one underground bunker, but you're not there. Like you're at another one of your properties when the world comes to an end, and you're like,
Such a drag.
I can't
One
get
of the
to my bunker.
comments also said Tish spilling and her daughter is trying to protect her by interrupting.
No, I think it's more like, look, people in the chat are like, yeah, they're getting weirdly defensive. Yes, it's possible that these other two could be part of a deep, shadowy cabal of government and celebrity oversight that are there to protect the underground tunnels from the rest of us. Or she could just be embarrassed and like, my mom's being a QAnon weirdo again. And
Well, okay, she was correct that
where
the
we
government...
go one, we go to the mall. And
Tish was correct that the government did, in fact, create the term
Yes, that
conspiracy
is true.
theorist
It's
to slander the people who are talking about actual conspiracies, and then
is
they
true.
discredited her for saying that. And if there were some shadowy organization or whatever you're referring to, Miley Cyrus is probably somebody who would be on the inside of that. So
maybe that's what like when you join the Illuminati and you get the black eye, that's how you get your permit to build your bunker.
So Will Smith is allegedly one of these celebrities who has a bunker, but there is another rumored list of them that includes Kim Kardashian, Shaquille O'Neal, and Tom Cruise.
Well, so here's the thing. Tom Cruise would have to build a special bunker for someone short, and Shaquille O'Neal would have to build a bunker for someone tall.
Right.
So they have to have different contractors for that to different specs. Because, like, what happens if Shaquille O'Neal ends up in Tom Cruise's bunker? That's not going to take.
No, that's not going to work out for them.
All that
believe
Shaq shoe
the-
and gummy money is going to his bunker.
The Scientologists 100% have
yeah.
a Scientology
Tom
bunker.
Cruise has probably had the bunker longer than
Yes.
the rest of them, if I'm
Yes,
guessing.
for sure. So there's also confirmed an underground bunker in Utah owned by Post Malone.
Yep. He's
And
talked
it's
about it.
really dumb of him to talk about it openly.
My hope is that he's got two, and that's like his distraction.
decoy.
That's his decoy bunker. Like all the weapons in there are airsoft, and the other bunker has the real
Yeah.
weapons.
He says that he has been planning and constructing an underground bunker beneath his Utah home, which he designed to be prepared for potential apocalyptic scenarios. It's expected to include 30 bunk beds, air filtration systems, water purification, and long-term food storage. He also said in an interview that you know when you've made it when you leave society, you pick up all your stuff, move to the middle of the woods, and never talk to anyone again.
See, this is what I was talking about on IRL. I said all the domestic terrorists who hated America or hated the American government would end up buying plots of land for like no money. And I was like, how can you even be miserable when you bought like a plot of land for like $5 and a pack of bubble gum?
There are other confirmed celebrity preppers, including Ronda Rousey.
Okay. So here's the funny thing.
She has a Doomsday ranch in California.
Pretty much every police procedural, right, does at least one episode on preppers where they're all portrayed as just nut
Wackos.
jobs.
A lot of them are, but they're
like, you go into the bunker and like there's gold bars, there's food. I think the show was it Elementary did a funny episode where a guy is selling you space in a luxury bunker for the end of the world, and it ends up being fake. He's selling you space in a bunker that doesn't exist.
Nice.
So it was like some type of weird scam.
Some like apocalypse MLM.
Yeah.
Kanye West also is the owner of an Armageddon bunker in Malibu.
It's where he keeps all his Hitler merch.
I mean, this is still unverified because I think he'd be smarter than to tell people about an underground bunker, but this might be Kim Kardashian's safe house when it all goes down.
And he's just like, can I come in? And she's like, I don't know, man. Like, you're definitely not bringing Bianca.
And then they say Steven Seagal has a bulletproof desert mansion in Arizona, probably with safe rooms constructed inside. Rihanna has a fortress with 60-foot high ceilings, huge walls of glass, originally built in 1994.
It's called Project Umbrella, I bet.
And then I think they said Joan Rivers had one, but maybe her estate owns it now. Dr. Dre is listed here. There's, of course, Mark Zuckerberg. His is in Hawaii.
I wonder if Eminem has tunnels under 8 Mile.
I don't think Eminem is a prepper. He doesn't give me those vibes. And then I looked into, like, beyond just the claims that some of these celebrities have underground bunkers, I want to know, what do these people actually believe is going to collapse society or, cause the human population to go extinct? And of course, you already know, we're talking about celebrities. A lot of them believe it's going to be a climate disaster. Miley Cyrus is one of those people. She said that she won't have kids because the earth is angry and climate change is what convinced her not to start a family. So she probably thinks it's the climate. And then Leonardo DiCaprio, of course, is a total climate wacko. He actually narrated a documentary about the climate crisis called Before the Flood, which was featured on the UN website. And he is a UN messenger of peace, whatever that means. In this documentary, he travels to 5 continents and the Arctic to uncover the reality of climate change. And basically, they think that the world is going to flood. Morgan Freeman has also talked about an impending apocalyptic event, but he didn't go into much detail. He was appearing on The View.
I like the idea of him being mysterious about his ideas.
Morgan Freeman, back in 2023, told The View co-hosts dead in the eye and told them the apocalypse is coming. He said, "I'm one of those people who's very interested in this subject, life on the planet. And you understand that today life on this planet is in a little bit of trouble and we're the cause of it." So he's being vague. "There have been, if I remember correctly, 6 extinction level events on the planet since life began. 6 times large portions of life, not human life, just life, have gone destroyed. We're headed for another one. Scientists have said if we don't hurry up and change our ways, there's going to be a cataclysmic event that will wipe many of us off the face of the earth." I assume that if he really believes that, he might also be constructing a bunker. I wasn't able to find a source on it, but I also heard that Chris Pine has talked about thinking the apocalypse will come because we're too dependent on technology and that society is going to collapse the second the electrical grid goes down.
There's definitely an argument to be made that people have gotten so far away from the ability to use survival skills that Darwinism will kick back into effect, like really.
Yeah.
Like, all of society has been, in effect, a way to prevent Darwinism from actually taking effect. Like, we do everything in our power to prevent the deaths of others, based on their own stupidity or ineptitude. And that's most people. Right? Like, most people, you send them out into the woods and ask them to build a fire and survive. Most don't. And that's why it's kind of like the phrase is always like the only thing a conspiracy theorist gets if he's right is to say I told you so.
Well, not if he dies.
But the prepper, however, gets to say not only I told you so, but also survive.
Yes.
He gets to say I told you so to your corpse.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I don't know if that's really that appealing to me. I've never understood
You're just like let it.
I would be fine with dying.
Okay.
The most bizarre view on the end times that I found from a celebrity thus far is Demi Lovato.
What did she say?
I think she's more of the mind that aliens are going to invade the Earth.
Well, I mean, she is
said,
the woman that sang a song for a ghost who went through sexism, right?
But here's the catch. She doesn't think that aliens are going to be the cause of the apocalypse. She thinks that when the world goes to nuclear war and we're facing nuclear apocalypse, aliens will save us from a nuclear apocalypse, but only if everyone meditates really hard.
I didn't see that episode of The X-Files, but I could have missed it.
Yeah, she says she is dug deep into the science of consciousness and experienced not only peace and serenity like she'd never known, but also witnessed the most incredibly profound sightings in the sky as well as feet away from her. And now she's gleaned that we have to meditate to save the planet from very negative paths toward destruction. If we get 1% of the population to meditate and make contact, we could force our governments to acknowledge the truth about extraterrestrial life among us and change our destructive habits, destroying the planet. So, we can gain favor with the alien race that invades us and they will save us from ourselves.
Suppose that's the gray. That's the evil grays, not the greens. The greens are going to be too benevolent and probably be taken out by the grays.
If this is what she's thinking about on a daily basis, like, why are you worried about the yogurt shop not giving you the yogurt that you wanted
when all of this stuff is going on? order of importance.
Aliens, lady.
That kind of reminds me, guys, after a much long-awaited period of time, JB Spooky Reviews did put out his review of the X-Files movie. It's 40 minutes long, and it's fantastic. And after this episode, and then after you watch my Fantastic Four review, you should watch his 40-minute video on the X-Files movie, Fight the Future, which is fantastic.
Now, the last example here is Jim Caviezel, who is Catholic and likely aligned most with my view of the end times. He gave an interview in 2023 where he said we're in an apocalyptic moment.
Person of interest reference, just because I can.
Reset the counter.
Reset the counter. Here we go.
We're in I would say, an apocalyptic moment right now. I think of the words that Jesus talks about when people say, when is the end coming? And Jesus looks, why do you ask me for the signs of the times? You look at the clouds and you know it will rain, and so it does. Why do you ask me this? Can you not see what's going on? Can you not see that we don't have a country anymore? By definition, you have to have borders. We don't have a border. Why would you continue to listen to a media that's lying to you every day? A couple years ago, I'm on talking about adrenochrome. You can't say that word. You cannot say anything bad on George Soros. Do you know that he owns many of these companies like the Daily Beast? Boy, they sure had their fun tearing me apart. I lost my agents, 17 years, and my other agent of 15 years, because they listened to them. You think you have a selection? Sorry, you think you know what the truth is. You don't. You have a selection. You're not free. And God wants you to be free. I'm talking about the God of Christ, Jesus.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he saved us from an AI apocalypse, so as far as I'm concerned.
He's referencing everything that he's had to sacrifice in his career for, first off, talking about his faith, of course, starring in Passion of the Christ, but also from his comments there, talking about his beliefs on the end times. I would say for Christians, the popular sentiment should be, you're not going to know and you're not supposed to try to find out because it's not knowledge that rightfully belongs to you. This is on God's timing. And yes, stay vigilant, stay prepared in a reasonable fashion, but don't think that you can save yourself.
It's also annoying for him especially, because like the Hollywood left can be doomerist about climate change all they want and basically tell you the same thing. The world's coming to an end. Rivers of fire and and oceans swallowing your buildings whole. And that's okay. But his is not acceptable because it's based in religious theology rather than scientific ideas.
Rather than a pseudo religion.
Yeah.
As trite as that is to point out, it's true.
Thank you. I wasn't going to be the one, but yes.
Yeah.
The point is that they talk about this ability to be open and tolerant, but they're really not. Now, my pragmatic side is like, bro, like if you need to make a living, you might have to sacrifice saying some shit.
True.
But at this point, he's made his money, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's made his money. So, like, again, like that might just be your own bias. Like if this was an actor that I wasn't so fond of, I might be like, well, you know what, bro? Like you got a job. Sometimes you got to cool it because you got to go along to get along. But if you've made your money,
undeniable,
you can go ahead and do whatever you want.
Undeniable that he has left millions of dollars on the table. For his beliefs, and I think that's admirable.
He was on the rise leading up to the Passion of the Christ, and I'll never forget when somebody said that. This was all like hearsay. I don't know if that's even true, but the idea was like when he got the call about Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson called him and was like, "Want to destroy your career with me?" And he's like, "Sure."
Yeah.
Like even if that story's kind of.
I would love to know what Mel Gibson thinks about the end times.
His Rogan interview was pretty interesting. So, all right.
Yeah, I just wanted to get into that, not so we can all like dive down a rabbit hole that leads nowhere, but because most pragmatically, if you know what these people believe about the destiny of humanity and this planet, you can better understand how they choose to tell stories and what stories they decide to tell through their artistic medium. It, I think, illuminates a lot.
All right, let's go to Superchats. In the chat, Kloonberg says he should have been Odysseus in Nolan's The Odyssey.
True. If we lived in a just world.
Yeah, but the thing is, and there would have been precedent there because Jonathan Nolan is the one who created Person of Interest. So there's at least the pseudo connection between them there.
Yeah, I would much rather have Jim Caviezel in that role than Matt Damon.
That would have gotten them a lot of pushback, I bet. At that
really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it still would have gotten them a lot of pushback. All right. Let's move on. Super Chats.
Shane H. Welder said, "Happy Friday, Brett and Mary. Random question. Is Dulles the airport with the PSYOP audio in the tunnels? Y'all talked about it before, if I recall." Yes, I talked about it, and Brett didn't know what I was talking about, but there is a tunnel in one of the terminals at IAD where they just play this PenFed credit union jingle on repeat 24/7, and sometimes the tracks that you walk, they are turned off, so you have to just walk at a snail's pace and listen to this jingle over and over and over.
I just listened to like was it Alan Dulles? The guy I just watched like a 35-minute video on him and the creation of the CIA and his history. Sounded like kind of a, pampered brat. Made it very far. Like one of those people where like the original Nepo baby, like they're kind of just okay, but they just keep advancing in life, and you're like, what does a guy got to do to get that level of success? I don't know if his name was Alan. It was something Dulles, and it was kind of interesting. Let's keep going.
You read that one from Weary Traveler. Waffles Sensei said, "I don't disagree with the points you made on good and bad for Fantastic Four. I agree with almost all of it, so how could you possibly arrive at this being good?"
Because I said so. Look, everybody has a different set of values or a different set of criteria for what aspects of a film work for them. So for me, the handling of the tone, its ability to find ways to inject humor into character-driven moments without sacrificing the serious nature of the threat, felt like something so foreign to Marvel these days, which has to include humor, like the world's about to end, somebody has to crack some lame joke. Whereas in this, because the stakes don't just involve the entirety of the planet, but also the life of a child, it felt like the movie offered an appropriate level of severity to the stakes. And I appreciate that the humor was used to build the relationship between the members of the family, because family is a large theme in this movie. Now, the things that I felt went underexplored will definitely be a detractor to people who are more, who view movies with a more critical eye, which I am ostensibly a much easier person to please when it comes to movies than a lot of people. Fair point. Like, I always tell people, I'm like, don't use me as your guide. I'm not going to tell you to go see a movie one way or another, because then people get mad at me. I'm like, I like this movie. They're like, rah, 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 rah. I didn't like this movie. Rah, rah, rah. Whatever. Okay, the things I liked about it. And like I said, I wanted to like Pedro Pascal in this movie, just so that I could be a contrarian and be like, yes, I am above that of such petty squabbles on the internet. But he was ass in this movie. In my humble opinion, he was the worst part of this movie. And there was several key points in this movie where the director clearly was like, okay, this is important. Okay, this matters. And you have to be more than just reserved Reed Richards. But he just looks like he's on Xanax the whole time.
Is he talking in a transatlantic accent?
Yeah.
That's
like,
so annoying.
also, there was no reason for him to like tell the public what Galactus wanted. Why would you be like, and he asked for my baby, and I was like, nah. Like, why wouldn't you just be like, we had negotiations, they broke down. Like, you don't need to tell everybody and get everybody pissed at you. Mm-hmm. But again, I thought that Johnny Storm was the standout character in the movie. I thought he was fantastic, and I enjoyed his back and forth with Ben Grimm. And, you know, I think the lady folks are going to like Herbie, and the lady folks will like the storyline revolving around, you know, motherhood and sacrifice.
The lady folks.
The lady folks.
Shane H. Wilder said, breaking, Mary Morgan uncovered the Epstein list.
I always suspected.
Yeah, if only.
Let's do one more.
Waffle Sensei said, Brett is pretending to love Fantastic Four to farm super chats from me.
That must be it.
It's working.
Look, okay, I will give this. I said I loved the movie. Maybe the better reaction would have been like, I really liked the movie. Maybe people hung on to me using the word love, like I loved it, like it's the greatest movie ever. I didn't say that. I would say if I had to watch one of them again, I'd watch Superman again before I'd watch this one.
What's your rating out of 10
I'm not
for
going to do that.
Fantastic
I
Four?
do not do that. I will not.
Why?
Because I don't even know. I don't even know. Like,
Just
I gave like
say a
in the
number.
past I've given movies like a 7. I was like, oh, 7.
Okay, just do it. Regardless.
10. It's a 10 out of 10. Everyone should go
Seriously?
see it. No, of course
Will
not.
you rewatch it?
I mean, there's
Ever.
almost no movie I will rewatch these days.
See, that's what differentiates a 0 movie from a 1 on the binary scale.
That's such a good idea. The other idea I've had is like what I'd like to do, and it would cost money, would be to do reviews where you simultaneously review a movie and then you go see it again the next day and you give it a second review, like a second watch review, and then put them back to back. Perhaps with some intercutting related to it, because a lot of times what it is like the hardest part about doing any review, especially when it's a theater release, is like you get more from a movie the second time around. You do. Your thoughts are more cogent because you can kind of better explain what it is that you're thinking about it. People were saying the plot didn't make sense. I thought the plot made perfectly fine logical sense, but maybe I'm just stupid.
That was Tim's primary
There's
criticism.
Why
of
did
the movie.
Galactus want Franklin? Well, he wanted Franklin because Franklin was apparently of such cosmic power that the planet-eating Galactus could just eat the baby and be satiated rather than having to continue to eat planets. Made sense to me.
I don't know. Tim said that you would only know that if you read the comics, but a newcomer wouldn't be making that connection. Weary Traveler said, I've been hating for free. Where's my union rep?
There you go.
No control.
Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back.
Okay. A brand new pop star has splashed onto the scene. Her name is Jessie Murph. She is a 20-year-old singer from Alabama, and she just released her sophomore album, which is called Sex Hysteria. And I think that name is quite apt for the conversation that is surrounding her at the moment. She just appeared on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and performed her new song 1965, which is trending all over TikTok right now. It has very controversial lyrics, and feminists are not liking it.
They're not.
So I don't want to play it for you because we're not going to get copyright today. But we can play the video of her performance. And you can kind of get the vibe she's going for here. She has this giant beehive hair. She looks like Priscilla Presley.
This was half of Fantastic Four, which was just women with Chanel and big hair.
Super 60s aesthetic.
Why is she not wearing shoes? That doesn't look sanitary.
I don't know what's going on with this backup dancer here, but, you know, he's giving it his all.
Like, if I was that guy, that's what I'd put on, like, the front of my Twitter
giving
post.
it his all.
I don't know who this guy is, but he's giving it his all.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain the lyrics?
Right. For context, she is now claiming that this song, 1965, is a satire piece from a feminist perspective. However, feminists disagree, and they think that she is backpedaling on the message.
Oh, you think...
Now that it's receiving backlash.
They think that she originally was being honest about this.
Yes.
And now that feminists are like, bah, 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 you're not allowed to like shit, that she's like, psych, I was just kidding.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it starts saying, my hair is high, coke is cheap, it's a great time to be alive. Studies are now saying that cigarettes are recommended and women belong in the kitchen.
Hey, that's relevant to you guys. Did you guys see that WNBA ad that said, let her cook? And everyone's like, somebody's getting fired.
And then her first verse says, it's so stupid. We'd go to church on a Sunday, wake up on Monday, you'd go to work and I'd stay home and sing and do fun things. I might get a little slap, but you wouldn't hit me on Snapchat. Don't effing text me at 2 a.m. saying where you at, boy, F you. You handwrite me letters when you went away. You'd make me feel better. You'd know what to say, and maybe you'd still be a hoe. But if you cheated, hell, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. So the slap part is pure feminism, right? That is pure.
Oh yeah, all
yes.
wives in the 1960s were brutally abused by their husbands for burning the casserole. Yeah, sure. And then basically it's saying, I want you to love me like it's 1965. I think I'd give up a few rights if you would just love me like it's 1965. That's the line that people are really taking offense to here.
So is this like the modern day version of Bowling for Soup's 1985? They should have somebody from the 80s do a version of 1965 in the tone, because somebody did a 2005 version of 1985. Somebody needs to make a 1960s version of 1985.
So they said it's her new song 1965 that is generating the most discourse. They say it's a rap influenced track that is lyrically Tradwife adjacent, but the video features some non-trad things, including a graphic sex scene that is somehow allowed on YouTube now, with all the contradictions at play in her vibe, which is sort of Priscilla Presley meets Sexy Red. You've lost me already.
That is horrifying.
Her post Lana Del Rey lyrics and her Meghan Trainor but dark visuals.
See what I mean?
The response has become vitriolic.
There should be nothing Meghan Trainor at all, let alone Meghan Trainor adjacent or dark Meghan.
So what I can say about this girl that I like is her outfits. I like the aesthetic of the Jimmy Fallon appearance. I like her hair. She's cute. The music is ass. And the lyrics are extremely intellectually lazy. I do believe her that it's a satire piece. She is speaking from the perspective of a modern woman who is being mistreated by her boyfriend in current day. And she romanticizes a bygone era in the 20th century where, you know, maybe you had to put up with getting abused by your husband and not having any rights and not being able to work, but at least they wouldn't be fuckboys who are brazenly asking you for nudes on social media.
Wait, was her idea here that I know that part, but did she want to work, or was there a part about like not wanting to work in there?
She's saying like, you would go to work, I would stay home and have fun.
Yeah,
you know?
see, like that's the real anti-feminism these days, is the women who wake up one day and they're like, there was a time when I wouldn't have had to do this.
This is also bizarre. She's obviously, she's 20 years old. She doesn't have an understanding, and none of us have an understanding of what life really was like back then. But she wrote, I would be 20 and it would be acceptable for you to be 40. And that's effed up, I know. But at least you wouldn't drive off before I get in the door. You effing F you. So
meaning like you would have opened the door for her and like let her and like close the door behind.
Yeah, you would open doors for me, give me flowers, all of the chivalrous gestures that used to be considered conventional. The idea that like housewives in the 1960s were all like decades younger than their husbands is also bizarre and ahistorical. A lot of the song is, and she even makes jokes about that in the last part of the song. It says, I guess Bud Light didn't exist. I guess movies didn't exist. Maybe they did. I'm not sure about the timeline, but I'm sure about you are mine and I am yours. And I'd have 9 daughters and Dirty Dancing wasn't a thing yet. I love that movie. F. We'd read a lot of books.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
But she...
Dude, though, to be fair, that's kind of how my brain works. So, like, my brain is that disjointed and scattered. So, on a very deeply personal level, I understand and kind of respect it. But that doesn't mean that what's kicking around in my brain is fit for public consumption.
So, on a much smaller scale, Jessie Murph is receiving the same exact kind of backlash that Sabrina Carpenter was receiving for her Man's Best Friend album cover, where she's on all fours. And, you have the obvious defense, which is, I was writing this as satire. I don't genuinely want to give up my rights for a man, to open doors for me. This is a commentary on the patriarchy or whatever.
The comments in this are hilarious.
But one of the people responding to her claim that this is a satire song said, it's not. You're just embarrassed now. Another one said she's saying it's satire because of how much hate she's getting. I think it's kind of irrelevant whether it's satire or not. This is the same thing I said about Sabrina Carpenter's album cover. If you did satire well, it would land.
Yeah.
Like, if no one is able to tell that it's satire, I mean, yeah, people are stupid these days, but like, it should be done with more precision than this. And she's also, to make it worse, not even a good singer, in my opinion. Like, if you listen to this song, it's slop. I would be willing to admit if I liked it. It's just so obnoxious, and her tone of voice, I just can't stand it. And it's very, like, Meghan Trainor trying to be Amy Winehouse vibes.
Yeah, the top comments is Amy Winehouse already did this.
Amy Winehouse is turning in her grave over comments like that. One of the responses from a feminist said, a woman I have never heard of in my life on national television performing a song about how she would give up her rights for a man. Yeah, this is right-wing propaganda. And...
Well, technically, she's not saying she'd give up your rights. She said she'd give up her rights.
Right. I do think that she intended it as satire, as poorly done as it was. However, I also believe that she genuinely meant it.
Oh, you think that she meant what she said?
Underneath it all, yes.
I mean, did she write? I doubt she wrote this song anyways.
Think somebody else came up with it?
Yes. Yeah, she's 20.
It's not that intelligent. I do believe that a 20-year-old can
write
something that stupid.
No, my idea is more that, like, there are plenty of Hollywood songwriters whose job it is to write for dumb people.
If it were actually a really clever song, I would believe it was written by a committee, but I think this came from her. And I think it is expressing something that we see all the time, which is, women in our modern era bemoaning the consequences of feminism and just like trying to hold it all together. I see, the stay-at-home girlfriends on TikTok.
Yeah.
And the Pilates wife content and cottagecore.
I forgot about cottagecore.
And pink collar jobs.
She did write. It says she did write the song.
Literally, go down the list. There are countless social media phenomena right now of women expressing their desire to give up what they gained from feminism.
Yeah.
In favor of men actually being respectable again.
Yeah. I mean...
So I think that's what she's really expressing here.
I wonder what the top 10 songs of 1965 were.
That's a good study.
I'm curious.
They were probably all about love.
My Girl by The Temptations.
Oh.
This number, let me see if I can pull these up.
The times sure have changed.
Wooly Bully by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. Never heard it. I Can't Help Myself. Sugar Pie Honey Bunch.
I don't know if I've heard that one.
Yep. You Were on My Mind. You've Lost the That Lovin' Feelin'. Downtown. Wow. Help. Can't You Hear My Heart Break? Crying in the Chapel. Well, that one's not getting popular these days. Sorry, Elvis. And My Girl by The Temptations.
And now we have songs about, like, killing your ex-boyfriend playing in the grocery store. I just recalled one post that I saw on Instagram recently of this young girl saying, thanks to my parents for teaching me values, now I can't start an OF or scam boys for money, but I can work 24/7 and be all, I got this. And she's crying in the video because... you know, she doesn't want the structure of society that has been foisted on us in our modern era. So I do think that there is a real sentiment of, like, what they would call regressive gender dynamics making a resurgence among young women. And I also always say this, but it's not fair to tell any... you know, woman in her 20s today that this is equality, you asked for it, because they were like born 2 seconds ago and this was already cemented well before they existed.
Yeah, but the problem is like the way the behavior of men today is also like all of the ills of men are put on the men of today, even if like all of the ills of men past is put on, you know, like Gen Z millennial guys who haven't done any of the things they're talking about. It's like when they talk about the evils of big business and blaming men in the patriarchy when the average dude doesn't have any money, doesn't have any capital, and doesn't have any way to actually oppress you. They're kind of the face of that. So everybody gets broad brushed. That's
equally nonsensical, I would say, in both examples. But yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think it was probably satire. That's just maybe I'm just looking too much into the lyrics about slap, but I find it hard to believe that that's in there and it's not satire.
Well, yes, it is satire. It's just badly done satire, and her heart's not in it.
Yep. All right.
That's what I would say.
All right. Let's do some super chats.
No Control said Harry Styles literally telling his fans to GFY. Literally, yes. Andy Bobandy said, first time I could actually watch live. Benefits of leaving corporate world to be a stay-at-home dad. God bless and long live PCC.
Let me know how dad life is going. Hope it's going well.
Thanks for tuning in. Shane H. Wilder said, Styles saying, please yourself like you mean it was giving Buffalo Bill put the lotion in the basket vibes. Effing weird ass gooners. Yeah, it's kind of perverted.
What about that Greenskeepers song? Put
What?
the lotion in the basket.
I don't know if I've heard that before. No Control said, hooray for boobies.
That's what all the men were saying when they saw Sydney Sweeney. They were going like this.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of infantilizing. And unfortunately, your lizard brain doesn't know the difference between seeing a pair of tits on the internet and actually convincing a woman to take her top off, like in front of you.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's do one more.
Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, give them bread, circuses, and boobs. See, you're on the right track there. You're directionally correct there.
I watched, so yesterday I watched several videos that were really funny. One of them was the history of offices, of like work offices, like
architecture.
Well, I mean that's part of it, yeah. About how offices were designed and organized, and what aspects of culture shaped them, both in the U.S. and abroad. I watched this other video. That was a short, depressing history of taxes. It was the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And there's like reasonable people in the comments who are like, I gladly pay my taxes for the roads and da-da-da-da. What I don't like is this, and that. I'm like, yeah, I don't gladly pay shit.
You don't get to choose.
You don't get to choose.
Yeah.
Like, talk about idealism.
No. Pop Culture Junkie said, adding societal tit test to my vocabulary.
There you go.
Did you say that?
I thought you said that.
I didn't say societal tit test.
Well, okay, I said it then. I'll take credit for it. I have no idea what we're talking about, but all right.
Okay.
Let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back. Let's move on.
All right. So, allegedly, there is currently an artificial hate campaign victimizing Pedro Pascal online. And it's not real people who are making fun of him. They're all bots that are being employed by some shadowy person or organization in the background trying to make us think that Pedro Pascal is an obnoxious male feminist pervert. I learned today that I am one of those robots. I'm a robot.
I mean, I'd almost like it to be true because that would make whoever this is like a generational hater.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. Well, I saw first this joke about how all of the hate against Pedro Pascal during the promo for Fantastic Four is just all of the monkeys, writing
from
the bot farm,
Yeah.
And apparently we are both bots. We're under the impression that we have our own thoughts, right? But in reality, we're being paid by Peter Thiel or something to make negative posts about Pedro Pascal. So
I will say this.
I'm glad that I've learned this today.
I will say this, that the Dokes memes, they caught up to Instagram unusually fast. Meaning that I felt the same way when Fast and the Furious memes were coming out, and when Fast and the Furious 9 was coming out, which was like an organized meme campaign around the idea of family. It was all of these memes about Dom saying, yeah, but you can beat it with family. The amount of reels that I've seen on Instagram about this are a bit suspiciously much, but it could just be my algorithm. But most of my algorithm isn't that, focused on content like this. So it was interesting. There's a lot of them.
Offers some examples here. Me wondering why Pedro Pascal never has anxiety around his male coworkers. When you get anxiety, so now you have to grope the nearest female coworker. A video of Pedro Pascal touching Willem Dafoe's wife is resurfacing. We can actually show that clip
yes, we
here.
Have that here. Hold on, let me pull it up.
But no, this is all AstroTurf. This isn't real.
Here we go.
This never happened.
This video is damning.
The chin touch is insane work. What is that?
Who does that?
Look, like just another double take here. What he does when he stands up and turns to Willem Dafoe's wife, and Willem Dafoe's smile just gets wiped off of his face. He's like, hey, man. And he points at Pedro. Yeah. I don't know what he's saying.
I will say that,
if you're listening rather than watching.
Those pants are an affliction.
If you're listening rather than watching, Pedro was like caressing the chin of Willem Dafoe's wife on a red carpet there. And this is just one of seemingly countless examples of his inappropriate PDA with female colleagues.
He got anxiety for Willem Dafoe, so he was just acting on behalf of Willem Dafoe.
Right. I see. It's all making sense. And these are all viral posts that are getting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views and likes. And the claim is that this is somehow part of a coordinated, targeted smear campaign against Pedro Pascal, and none of it is organic, much like the supposed smear campaigns that targeted Amber Heard back in 2022 or Blake Lively in this past year. So, sure, yeah, Pedro Pascal is, he's just getting defamed. None of this is real. We have no actual reason to dislike Pedro Pascal. There is simply no way that we could possibly believe this guy is unpopular.
How much of your timeline has been these memes on X? It's been a lot of my
Not
timeline.
a lot for mine, but we have very different algorithms.
Correct.
I just know for a fact that I've contributed to it because I personally dislike Pedro Pascal, or at least who he portrays himself to be, and I know that I'm not a robot. I genuinely feel that way. And it's similar to how Blake Lively has launched an entire, $400 million lawsuit over the fact that she can't believe people didn't like her online for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And now this infamous gimmick account called Leave Heard Alone has jumped into the conversation. This is one that has been around for years, and she gained a bunch of followers from covering the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial in 2022. But now she talks about, feminism and social media manipulation. She believes the theory that Pedro is being targeted. She says, I know an artificial smear campaign when I see one, and Pedro Pascal is being targeted. Probably because he's so well loved by so many and an advocate for trans rights.
Must be.
Yeah, those are trans rights. Yeah, that's a notoriously not divisive topic that couldn't possibly get anyone on his bad side.
There's a certain level of like some people just can't imagine a world exists outside of their experience, that anything that disagrees with their, maybe that's kind of the benefit of existing in this space. If it's someone like you who has a conservative worldview, or someone like me who doesn't necessarily have that but exists in this sphere, you're consistently bombarded by people who have opinions that run contrary to what you believe. So there's like healthy pushback against whatever it is you may think or feel. Whereas for some people, they fall so firmly into whatever is generically socially acceptable, they can't imagine a world existing outside of their own experience. Something that disagrees with them seems almost impossible because so much of their views are just made up by generically falling in line with whatever is socially acceptable at the time. Now, I'm not saying that's true of this person, maybe a true believer, whatever. But for a lot of people, they don't put a whole lot of thought into these ideas because they kind of live life on autopilot.
But the least we can say for ourselves is that when we get pushback on our views or opinions or personalities online, we don't assume that it's just all fake and artificial. We can accept that those people genuinely dislike something we've said and move on with our lives. But
Correct.
Someone like Blake Lively, for instance, can't. We have a 20 from Francisco Sanchez Jr. Are people forgetting the photo of Pedro Pascal and Mark Ruffalo cuddling? I thought that was Pedro and Oscar Isaac, but if I'm unaware of a Mark Ruffalo... Or is there like
another one?
Look that up. See if there's photo evidence of Pedro cuddling Mark Ruffalo. It sounds real.
To whoever's, on the Wi-Fi. It's not my fault.
Sorry, we are looking up like pleasing Harry Styles and Pedro Pascal, Mark Ruffalo cuddling pics.
Yeah, hold on.
On the company Wi-Fi. So Leave Heard Alone expanded on this claim in a full thread. Here's how you know Pedro Pascal is being targeted by a smear campaign effort. Typically, when a woman comes forward about a co-star's sexual misconduct toward them, do you know what happens? People bend over backwards to support the man accused of misconduct. And here, of course, she's referencing Blake Lively. Typically, when a man comes forward about a co-star's sexual misconduct toward them, do you know what happens? People bend over backwards to support the man accused of misconduct. And then she says, what makes Pedro Pascal different? He is an immigrant from Chile that women love, who is vocal about protecting diversity and lesbian, gay, queer, and trans rights. He's the most popular actor on the planet right now with 3 movies he stars in theaters right effing now. And he is the antithesis of everything conservatives hate. So he is being targeted. I think she means that he is the antithesis of everything conservatives love. But these people have literacy challenges.
I don't have that picture, but this one's actually worse.
That's Mark Ruffalo right there?
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah, I think it was mainly Oscar Isaac. They were getting really up close and personal together. So yeah, these people are convinced that all of the hate against Pedro Pascal is paid for. It's all payola.
I'm just
like wondering when my check is gonna come in the mail.
I
haven't gotten a check yet, so I'm a little bit peeved.
I don't buy that people don't know that this is weird when she's a married, an engaged woman with a child on the way.
Yeah. Vanessa Kirby just, caressing Pedro Pascal's neck, nuzzling him all over his face, interlocking fingers.
To be fair, these are not him reaching out for her. This is her reaching out for him. So maybe it's just as simple as it's an affair, and they're just really bad at hiding it.
With the exception of the Comic-Con video where he grabs for her hand, but most of these are Vanessa Kirby's advances.
But if that baby comes out with a bad mustache, I'm going to start calling into question whether it's her husband's or not.
And just saying someone is popular in Hollywood right now doesn't mean that that actor or actress is organically popular. Obviously, Hollywood can foist whatever and whoever they want on the public because we don't make these decisions. So the fact that Pedro Pascal is an overexposed actor right now has nothing to do with a popular demand for him to be all over our screens in every theatrical release that is available right now.
It's like when I talk about there was a time when Jai Courtney was thrust upon everybody and everyone's like, he's not nearly talented enough to justify this much screen time. Now, people would say that Pedro Pascal may be more talented than Jai Courtney, but that doesn't mean that there's that much organic interest for everything that he's in. Granted, I don't think Eddington is supposed to make a whole ton of money. It's not expected to make a whole ton of money given the type of movie that it is.
Neither was Materialists.
Yeah, but,
But no, it's a coordinated smear campaign against Jai Courtney. He's clearly super popular.
I will say,
so
though,
you must be wrong.
If Fantastic Four does really, really well, it's in spite of his performance. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, let's finish up these super chats.
Let's do it.
Shane H. Wilder said the quote is from St. Escriva's book, The Way. Bender McSimpson said, love the show, obviously, but Mary, how can you say the Victoria's Secret fashion show needs to be fun, flirty, and sexy? Say Lois Lane doesn't dress sexy enough, but then hate on the Sydney Sweeney ads. Because I think that there is a way to play sexy in a way that is tasteful. Yeah.
Was there,
And I also think that you can use imagery that has actual eroticism and sex appeal without even showing skin, and that's a level of tact and grace and precision that has been completely lost on creative directors in this day and age.
Do you think that was there a time when the Victoria's Secret fashion show was something that you thought was a good thing, or should it have always been different?
Well, it was always a product of its own time, of course, like in the 90s and 2000s. If we're choosing between what the Victoria's Secret fashion show was in the early 2000s compared to what it became, a total train wreck that became defunct, was brought back half-heartedly, everyone would choose the prior version of it, which was massively popular amongst both men and women.
But there was a lot of skin shown for that.
For sure. I also do think that being half naked or nearly naked is contextually more acceptable for supermodels like Gisele Bündchen compared to random women on social media.
Yeah.
Like, context does matter. Wearing a bikini to church is not the same thing as wearing a bikini to the beach. And people just have such black and white thinking about all of it. There was plenty of celebration of classic feminine beauty and aspirational beauty standards that includes having a beautiful figure before everything became massively over-sexualized. And I think that when you have female sexuality getting blasted literally everywhere, it loses its value.
But we were talking about the Sydney Sweeney ad. It's not like that was overly full of skin. Yeah, there's like a bit of chest, but for the most part, it's in the context of what she's saying more than that is to me more deft than a ton of skin being shown.
Well, I think that's why I found it so puzzling, because it was being responded to as if it's so much more titillating.
I mean, isn't that a sign
than
that
it actually is?
Isn't that a sign that it did its job? It's kind of like how Hitchcock used to, well, not Hitchcock specifically. Like, you know, if you watch a show on network television of someone snorting drugs, you never actually see them do it. You'll see them bend over. It'll come to like here, and you'll see their head move, but it doesn't actually show on screen. Now, you go watch it on in a movie like Wolf of Wall Street, and what's his name just goes to the hospital from snorting lines of vitamin C.
Okay, but then you go watch Sydney Sweeney in Euphoria, you're going to see her basically perform as a porn star. She is basically a porn star. Can you imagine what society would have made of that very short time ago, just a handful of decades ago, how that would have been regarded? But she is a porn star.
But in the context of, I guess, what we were discussing, or like what maybe more aptly, like what like the right wing perspective on her is, it's not those scenes. It's the ads. It's the Saturday Night Live appearance. I think the more extreme example would be the Dr. Squatch ads, which are more, you know, overt, but otherwise it's like clips of her or scenes of her from Saturday Night Live, and like that to me, just that's not the same thing as like nobody that I've seen is celebrating the Euphoria stuff except for the meme of her crying, which has become like has gotten its own life.
I mean, look at any viral post that's about Sydney Sweeney and scroll down and you're gonna see gifs of her in the middle of simulated sex acts. She's a porn star. And I think it's bizarre to, you know, frame like sex negativity as some inherently feminist idea. The fact that everything is so explicit and pornified and that it's literally unavoidable these days to see it in marketing and TV shows, in movies.
But that's not these days.
That's a result of feminism. And I don't think that, I mean, I think the genuinely conservative perspective on this is that women should not be putting their bodies on display for the sexual titillation of men or women or anyone.
Yeah.
Because that makes female sexuality completely valueless. To offer it to the world makes it valueless.
From the male perspective, like what's the joke that they always say is like, back in the day, you know, before the age of the internet and certainly before the age of like the smartphone with social media, a guy would see like 2 hot women his entire life. Yeah. And now their brain, and I mentioned this to you like years ago, I was like, the male brain is not designed to be bombarded with that imagery 24/7. Even if we're talking in the 90s when this stuff was extremely prevalent in movies and television, like not even really network television, but movies and advertising and cable television, you had to go home to watch it on TV. You had to go to a theater to see it in a movie theater. You had to physically buy a magazine to see it in like, not even a porn, but like in like FHM or Stuff or whatever, these men's magazines. It wasn't something that you carried around with you in your pocket 24/7. And there probably has been, in a lot of ways, a mass rewiring of men's brains because they were not, you know, the male brain being as what they describe as being, you know, visually focused. Men are visual creatures. It's a constant assault on their senses.
Yeah. And I really, truly believe it's psychological warfare because, like, we know the effects that pornography has on your brain chemically, and you truly, biologically cannot differentiate between watching a sex act or looking at a naked woman on a screen any differently than, you know, thinking that you fulfilled your biological imperative and actually convinced that woman to have sex with you.
I don't know if I think
because of the dopamine response that you have to it.
Perhaps it's psychological warfare. I think it's in our capitalist economy, a certain demographic has found the easiest way to make money and draw eyeballs is what it is, and perhaps it's a blending of the two. But there is a market that will need to be filled because men are, people are dating less, people are in less relationships, and then you get into a chicken or egg situation, which one came first.
Yeah.
It's kind of immaterial. We just are where we are.
We have a 20 from Manic Mustache. Late as usual, but apropos to toxic masculinity. I don't, what is GNF? GNF? Who you are? Do you mean AF? I don't know. Touch my wife like Pedro did. I'm coming at you like a 200-pound spider monkey strung out on Mountain Dew. That's just mainlining you. What? You mom.
Your mom's double
Your
venti
mom's
matcha?
double venti matcha. Stay toxic, my friends.
I don't know what GNF means, but maybe it's GAF. But A and N aren't
GAF.
A and N aren't anywhere near. Oh, give no Fs, maybe?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think most men would agree with you. Mm-hmm. Short bus driver said, don't forget Elon made his fortune with his tunneling machine company. I couldn't forget because I didn't even know that. But thank you for telling me.
BLT in the chat is correct. It says, I think you may underestimate the amount of pornography that existed before the internet. The video rental business owes much of its success before the web to porn. Yet I think that what the point I was making was, you are correct. Like, pornography has been plentiful and has existed for a very long time, but there was a difference in access at any given time.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, plus there was a cultural of shaming around the guy who decides to push the beaded door out of the way and go into the back room there. It was never me, I promise.
It's also certainly not as accessible to children by far.
Yeah, but you are correct in that, like, look, for as long as human beings have had photography and ways of documenting their actions, this stuff has existed. So,
Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, one of the better Doomsday movies I've seen recently is Greenland with Gerard Butler. Definitely worth a watch.
I have not seen that.
Weary Traveler said Shane Gillis and Dave Portnoy equals performative masculinity.
Is
TM.
Dave Portnoy an example of, like, performative masculinity? He, like, yells and gets mad at people on his streams. Like, I feel like it's less masculine if you, like, lose your cool, like, while talking to someone on the internet.
Wait, so you mean Dave Portnoy?
Yeah.
Not Shane Gillis.
I don't watch Shane Gillis. I know
well, they kind of court the same audience, like the Barstool Sports audience. Yeah, I would assume their fan bases overlap.
There's perhaps something masculine in Dave Portnoy's, like, business acumen.
Sure.
Like, in how big of a business model he's built.
He has kind of beclowned himself, though, in recent months. Greg Duvier said, Mary, make Lois Lane more sexy. Also, Mary, don't make Sydney Sweeney too sexy. Okay, I just don't think that there is the apparent contradiction there.
Hold, please.
Thank you.
We will revisit the thought in a second. Okay, back to your point.
Because I don't think there's anything wrong with women having sex appeal and aiming to be attractive to men. I do think that there is something wrong with overtly putting your sexuality on display in a way that completely devalues it. And what Sydney Sweeney has done is literal pornography on TV. She has literally simulated sex acts on television. She is a porn star by any sane societal standard in a bygone era. We would know exactly what she is. But because we're so desensitized to it, we just don't have the same terminology. There is nothing...
She wouldn't, by today's general standards, that's not what they would call her.
That's what I'm saying. And there is nothing degrading about this character, Lois Lane, for instance, like wearing high heels. There is something degrading about getting gang banged on camera. And
I didn't watch the show, so I don't know if that happened.
And being nude in front of the entire world. So yeah, I think there is a very clear distinction between actually caring about being attractive and hot, for lack of a better term, and being a porn star. But those lines need to stop getting blurred.
Okay.
Jet Morbid said the celebs talking about mass meditation to save the world must be into the Lucas Trust. I don't know if I said that right. A Gnostic group closely tied to the UN with offices usually next door to the UN offices. It's a Lucifer cult.
You should call...
I've never heard of that. I should look into it.
Did you say Gnostic with a G?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to call James Lindsay. Get his opinion on this.
Is he like a...
Isn't he a
Gnostic?
Well, no, he knows a lot about Gnosticism, so maybe he could tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I would fall asleep almost instantly.
Like, wake me up when we get to Bohemian Grove.
DC and C said still sad about the Hulkster.
Yeah. I saw a Clownfish TV video today. They covered, Neon covered the people who were gleefully celebrating his death.
Oh, because of the racism.
Because of the racism.
I saw some of that last night.
That's that's the world we live in now.
Yep. Gross. Greg Duvier said the critical drinker likes Fantastic Four.
Well, good. I'm glad he did. Or I guess I'm glad he did. You know, I'm happy anybody has a good time at the movies. You know, like.
But also like your favorite like YouTuber reviewer shouldn't dictate what you think about anything.
That's the thing about it, right? Like, I get it. For a lot of people here, like in the space, they're kind of checked out. They're not going to these movies anyways, so they listen to reviews to kind of hear what people's thoughts on them are. That's fine. But it's like, if you're gonna tell me it's a bad movie, at least go to see it. Like, then by all accounts, I'm just like, well, that's subjective anyways, right? We can talk all we want about objectively good art, fine, but if we're gonna argue about it, we're just gonna be it's just gonna be circular. For 20 minutes, you're gonna be telling me all the things you don't like about it. I'll be like, oh, well, I like this, and you didn't like it, and you come back to the same place. What I want to see somebody do, I want to see somebody use AI to like turn old episodes of Siskel and Ebert into a podcast, and start like give them personalities where they have to answer super chats about their reviews for movies. And I want to hear like how Siskel and Ebert deal with like people being like, oh, well, you like that movie? Well, fuck you then. That's a...
Shane H. Wilder said, wasn't 1965 the middle of the free love movement just before the summer of love of 1967? She wants love like that. Doesn't sound very traditional. Well, at least you could argue that in 1965, it hadn't reached the mainstream for the average person yet. And there were still like more traditional gender roles at the time. But yeah, that was the start of the end. Shane H. Wilder said, you've heard Wooly Bully. I guarantee it. Sam the Sham was from Texas. The entire band dressed up like Egyptian pharaohs.
Yeah, I saw the picture. I said, that looks politically incorrect today. Yeah, I saw the picture. I was like, somebody's getting in trouble for that one today.
Were they in blackface?
No.
Oh, so the Egyptians weren't black. Francisco Sanchez Jr. said, are people forgetting the photo? Oh, I already read that one earlier. Weary Traveler said, when can we get Sydney Sweeney in a Hardee's/Carl's Jr. commercial? That's when the culture is truly back.
Wasn't there who was the one that Alex Cooper had like a...
No,
Alex
it
Earl?
was Alex Earl.
Or Alex Earl had a Carl's Jr. commercial?
Yeah, because like men are stupid and they just love bacon and tits, right? Look, the people who believe that about men are the ones who hate men, right?
Look, I love pro wrestling, so what do I know about anything high art?
Men are just belching morons, and they love tits and beer.
What would a good
right
Carl's Jr. ad be to you? Like, what would a good burger ad be to you? To sell greasy fast food?
I don't fucking know.
Like... I remember the old ad for...
I'm not saying that the Alex Earl thing doesn't work.
Like, well, yeah, I mean, that's their job, right?
I never claimed that the sex doesn't sell. Yeah, I'm just like saying I don't think men are idiots. And you're all like, what? I am an idiot. How dare you say that?
I don't think it's that simple, but...
That's definitely how it comes off. Award-winning Blank said, Brett, hope you have a perfect wedding and perfect marriage. What is your favorite dumb movie?
The first one that came to mind was Van Wilder, I guess.
Okay.
Like, what do you mean by dumb? Like, what does that mean? Like,
Affectionately called
yeah.
dumb.
Maybe Van Wilder. I love that movie. Or Not Another Teen Movie.
That's definitely dumb.
Yeah, I love Not Another Teen Movie.
Christopher Hovis said TGIF and first-time donator. Absolutely loving these base takes from Mary. Can't wait to see you on Pints with Aquinas. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, and they love the base takes.
I don't know if they do. Red Snow said, almost missed the show. Let's praise the gongo.
Yes.
Thank you for making it today.
In the chat, Christopher Hovis says, what amount of money do they read Super Chats? We read all of them.
All of them. If you send one that is $20 or over, that one will be read right away. Pop Culture Junkie said, there's always been a nasty porn debate within feminism going back to the 80s between the I can make money with my body, it's none of your business faction and the it's male exploitation crowd. Yeah, and that's actually a debate that's still going on today on social media between, you know, young women who are reacting to OnlyFans and the celebration of sex work. And they rightfully recognize that that's not something that's empowering to women, but they instead are turning to, you know, more radical feminist worldviews, which are equally deceptive, I would say, as choice feminism, liberal feminism.
Much of this is like, it's like when I see the stuff from the 90s about the war on Christmas, and you're like, nothing changes. Everything's...
No one talks about the war on Christmas these days.
But the point is like culture war.
Yeah.
Culture war, wedge issues. It goes on forever. It will go on long after me and you have moved on. And it will go on forever because people just need stuff to argue about. There's a great Fisher Spooner song called We Need a War.
Do we need a war? Is that what you really think?
No, but, you know, arguing's going to happen either way.
I think we're all caught up on
Yes,
these
we are.
super chats. Do we have Rumble rants, though?
We did not. We didn't. Nobody's over. I did see people having lively discussion over on Rumble, though, which I always appreciate.
Cool.
When somebody in the chat said, love her, Jelly Roll's friend. I don't know if anybody here is a friend of Jelly Roll.
Wait, what?
It was at the very top of the show.
What about Jelly Roll?
Like,
does Jelly Roll have a Doomsday bunker?
Probably.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Music to steal catalytic converters, too.
Tate died when you said that.
Yeah, that's my favorite is to look at like Instagram posts from those types of artists and reading the comments that are all like, well, the beat was kind of crap, but other than that, it sucked.
I don't think I've ever listened to a Jelly Roll song.
Oh, I mean, in my opinion, you're not missing out much, but it's not my genre.
All right.
There, Weary Traveler says Mary goes to Thistle and Thorn.
Actually true. I don't eat fast food burgers, but if I'm at a restaurant that serves those Thistle and Thorn burgers, I do enjoy those. So I own that.
You can taste the expensiveness.
Mm-hmm.
The money used to buy suspenders and slacks that don't make it all the way past their ankles.
You know, the hipsters, they contributed a lot to the culture.
I mean,
I like Stomp Clap. I do.
So one thing that I think that is funny is like if you go look at Instagram reels making fun of the hipsters of that time period, you know, the lumberjack wannabes and the Stomp Clap listeners, there will be a civil war going on in the comments about what these people grew up to be. Half of them are sure that they grew up to be like MAGA people. And I was like, I highly doubt any of the Stomp Clap hipsters grew up to be Trump people. Maybe some, but definitely not most of them.
Yeah. I just want to know, like,
I would imagine that some of
at.
them ended up maybe wearing shirts that say, you know, I'm with her, or it's her turn, or whatever feminist shirts were made for Hillary campaigns. Or
well, the hipsters were actually a lot more rude than anyone remembers.
No, I remember it.
Like, people don't talk about that because, like, the music it sounds so happy and wholesome, but, like, they were really rude people.
And as you know, one of my deepest held beliefs is that hipster culture died when no hipster was willing to wear a MAGA hat, ironically.
Some of them were. but
No,
not
no,
most.
no. I don't know. Like maybe somebody in the chat can point me to somebody that did that. But if you went into Uptown, like you're not seeing somebody wearing a MAGA hat
No.
that doesn't support Trump because they don't want to get singled out and judged because they're not willing to live by their ideals. That you can be ironic because this guy's like, you know what? I'm a Hillary supporter, but I'm gonna wear this hat because it's ironic.
Well, they don't think they wanted to get punched in the face.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you won't get punched in your face for your beliefs, then how can I buy anything you're saying?
You remember when Richard Spencer was like wearing a Pepe lapel pin on the street and somebody like just socked him in the face?
Somebody noticed it and like how big was
Or
it?
maybe they recognized him. I don't know how famous he was at that point.
They probably recognized him.
Just punched him right in the face. Falling Exposure said, if you look into Lucius Trust, check out Alice Bailey's 10-point plan. Take care. Meow. R.I.P. Hogan.
It is so sad that Hulk Hogan has since passed on, brother.
Brother AJ.
That was another one of the greatest memes, was the one where it says like, the lie detector test has determined that not everyone is in fact your brother. And it's Hulk Hogan looking really sad.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'll be flying Monday. Pray I don't end up in Final Destination. If I have in-flight Wi-Fi, I'll tune in. I will try to avoid the dullest psyop with earbuds.
So do you have any fears of like those like scenes from those movies? Like you're driving behind a thing of lumber and then you're like, I got to get out of this lane so it doesn't snap loose and then go through my car windshield and impale me?
I do.
You do?
I do merge when that happens, yes. But I don't know. I'm not like a paranoid type.
I'm always like I said, my one of my other deepest held beliefs is that I'm not lucky enough to die in an interesting way. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna get impaled on
That's what all the people who end up getting impaled say.
Like on a plane, I'm like, I'm not gonna die in a plane crash. That stuff ends up on Wikipedia pages. I'm not gonna be on a Wikipedia page.
Well, you're in a Wall Street Journal article.
No, I didn't ask for that.
There you go.
You didn't ask for that either.
I mean, I did talk to the lady. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
The Tim profile is up on Wall Street Journal.
I haven't read it.
now.
Is it kind? Is it rude? Is it
I haven't read through it either yet.
analytical?
I just liked the part that they included where I said, like, you're very friendly, but we don't trust you. Ha.
Yeah.
No Control said a hipster would wear a MAGA hat, ironically.
I don't know if I buy that they'd risk it. I don't know. Maybe a hipster so divorced from actual politics that they don't understand the gravity of what they're doing. In which case, it's not ironic enough because they're not actually putting any thought into it.
I always felt safe wearing a MAGA hat because I'm a girl. And I don't think anybody is going to punch me for it.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of dysregulated women out there today who might take that risk.
That are ready to throw down in the
Yeah.
parking lot over a MAGA hat. Possibly. Corn Pop said, can we switch our names back to the real names?
Wait, there is a way to do it, but I don't
Yes.
remember how. You can do it.
You can, and I don't remember how. It's on your channel dashboard, I think. Weary Traveler said, an underrated stomp clap band was Of Monsters and Men.
Of Monsters and Men was not Stomp Clap. They
What
did
is
a
it then?
trailer song for like the first season of Jessica Jones. It's like the farthest thing from Stomp Clap. Unless all their music is like extremely different than that song. Maybe I'm just...
We are young.
Yeah, it's not
There's
that.
fire in our souls. We go big or go home together. Hey!
2013.
We
man.
are gay. Manic Mustache said, hipsters are the reason my work boots cost $400 now. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, for the most part,
But they cared about that high quality artisan leather,
Like, imagine being the kind of like when GameStop employees probably woke up one day and like, why is our stock so high? Carhartt's like, look, we're a reliable brand, but why the hell is everybody wearing Carhartt now?
That and Realtree. as well, and Bass Pro Shops. Like you see a lot of people wearing
The Bass Pro
ironic
Shop, like,
Bass
that's-
Pro merch.
That's a certain level of stolen valor.
I mean, Bucky's is stolen valor hipster nonsense as well. Like people going around in Bucky's merch who have never even been to a Bucky's. They just bought
They're
the
like-
shirt on Depop.
Well, it's kind of like the guy. He's like, it's a gas station?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
it is.
it's like a new niche that they've joined.
Maybe I'll have to get a Sheets hat. I wonder if Sheets
The
makes
Sheets
merch.
have hats? They must. Get some Waffle House merch. They have really good merch. Shane H. Wilder said, I'll say maybe is if I hear Take Me Home Country Roads while boarding, I might get a little nervous. I don't care if I'm heading to West Virginia.
Okay.
Red Snow said death metal over stomp clap. R.I.P. Chuck Schuldiner.
So
Did I say that right?
Do you have a genre of music that you put above others? Like, do you actually like stomp clap?
I do listen to it. I have a whole like early 2010s
There's something
playlist.
there's something whimsical about the early 2010s.
Yeah.
Where I get it.
I listen to it, but it's not my top genre. I mean, I would say I don't even really listen to music that often anymore.
Yeah.
I mostly am listening to podcasts, but I like post-hardcore music. I don't like that it has such a pretentious sounding name.
Okay.
But
All right. All right, guys. Before we go, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. What are you waiting? Like, if you haven't subscribed yet, what the heck are you waiting for? It's time to get in and do that. Somebody asks, what is Stomp Clap? Go listen to Ho Hey by the Lumineers.
that's all you need to know.
That's the seminal
Yes.
Stomp Clap song. And you know what? It still goes.
It still goes
It
hard.
still goes. It was like a cell phone ad for like I don't even remember. It was like maybe it was like a Pixel, like an early version of the Pixel or something like that. It was like a phone ad in like 2012.
I want to like do one of those Instagram videos. It's like, come with me to spend a weekend as a millennial hipster. First, we went to get hoppy IPAs.
No, you need to make one of those threads, those interactive threads.
Yeah, a little interactive thread. Like, imagine your life for a day as a millennial hipster in 2010.
Are you gonna wear the short shorts? Or are you gonna wear the slacks that don't make it all the way down to your shoes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, pick your favorite IPA.
Belt buckle or suspenders?
What pair of oversized glasses are you wearing? Yeah.
All right.
If only.
You should do that this weekend. But Mary, where can they find you?
DCNC has one more super chat. Started watching House. It's okay. It's got Billy from Neighbors, the Aussie guy.
Yeah, that's Jesse Spencer, the actor. He goes on to do a show called Chicago Fire where he does like the most noticeable American accent you'll ever hear.
Corn Pop said, fix our names in the chat. It's on your end. It's definitely not.
Actually, it might be. But either way, I'm not doing it. Deal with it.
There's literally no way that's true. We could just take if that were true, we could take someone's username and like make it the N-word. Like, that's not on our end. For sure, it's a you problem. Okay, you can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. It's kind of ironic. I'm like getting more hate on Instagram now that I'm posting more regularly. And you can help me get TikTok famous as well. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, you want to follow me? I'm on Instagram and on X at Brett Dastovic on both of those platforms. We are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch this show, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That always helps the channel a lot. And if you want to follow us on social media, we're on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. And if you could, go over and check out my Fantastic Four review. I spent about 20 minutes babbling about it. You can hear what I have to think about it, make a decision for yourself. I would never recommend you go see a movie so that you can come back and tell me why I wasted your money anyways. But if you want to listen to my thoughts, they're over there. It's in the pinned comment above. I'll throw it in the description box of this episode. Guys, we will be back.
We have one more.
One more?
From TX Goliath. Carhartt with their mask mandates. Posers.
And one more from Waffle Sensei.
Where Where's that?
He says, have a good weekend, gang. Brett, I forgive you for being wrong about Fantastic Four. Well, at least you're wrong with conviction, my friend. That's okay. All good, Waffles. Everybody, we will be back with another episode on Monday. We will see you guys then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.